viewers, and you're very, very, very welcome to our latest Live in Laois interview. And I'm joined by the wonderful manageress of BloomHQ in Mountrath, Regina McGinley, but known to our friends far and wide as Gina. How are you today?
Not too bad, John. Good.
Great. Now, when I say the manageress or manager, which would you prefer?
Well, you know what? It's funny you ask that. So I'm constantly always learning new things and researching co-working hubs and seeing what the latest things are. And apparently the latest title of managing a hub like this is a community manager. You're managing a community of people, which I really like. I think that's nice, So I'm facilities manager because I manage the whole facility, not just the business enterprise hub, but the community gym, the community groups, the grounds where we have tennis courts and so on. So I would say I'm a community manager.
Well, you're the perfect person for it, if you don't mind me saying so. And you've a wonderful community in there in Mountrath. But what is BloomHQ? Can you sum it up for us?
BloomHQ is a co-working space. And prior to me coming in here, I just seen it as an office space. I didn't know what co-working was. I just thought it was somewhere you could take a desk and work for the day, So the more I've learned about it and the more I'm trying to show other people what we are, is a space where you can come in and you can take a desk and you can work away at your own pace and not have to interact with anyone. Or you can come in, take a desk with other like-minded people and have a chat with them and learn off them, have a cup of coffee together in the canteen, use our facilities on site as well, and learn together. So pre-COVID coming in, my plan was to put on a series of talks like branding and startup and even things down to where do I get insurance for my company? Like everyday stuff that you kind of ask yourself, but you're afraid to ask in case it's going to either cost you a fortune or you don't get the right information. So BloomHQ is a holistic project where you can come in and start your business, or you can be a student and get your thesis finished, or you can meet and have an interview, or you can just bring your clients to and have some really nice coffee because we have fabulous coffee on site as well. So it's a community holistic project.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Now, am I right in saying that you got the role just at the start of COVID-19?
Yeah, I'm so lucky. So I had just finished my role as historian in residence for Laois County Council, and the position came up at BloomHQ, and I knew what BloomHQ was because I'm also a genetic genealogist. I wanted to take an office here prior to this. So I knew of the space, I knew of the project. My partner's from Mountrath, so I knew, and they're all in Scouts, and the Scouts are based here too, so I knew what the project was, but I didn't realise how high tech it was, how significant it is in developing community in rural Ireland. I just think I'm so passionate about it, and I was so lucky to get the role. I'm only here part-time. I'm here 5 days a week, but I'm only here part-time. But if I could stay here all day, every day, I would. It's just such a fantastic project, and I sing its praises everywhere I go, not because I work here, but just because I believe in it so much.
Yeah, these hubs are so necessary, especially in rural Ireland. Like, we're so lucky here in Kilminchy and Portlaoise. You take really, really good, stable, fast broadband for granted.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Just a couple of miles. That's old school. A couple of kilometers out the road, they're existing on little better than dial-up.
And satellite broadband. Like my brother-in-law and sister-in-law have to use satellite broadband, and we're very lucky here at BloomHQ. We invested in our own broadband infrastructure. So when the broadband goes down in town, we still have our own line. We've gigabit broadband with a contingency line. So if our main line goes down, we have a second line. And we invested in that specifically because there was a study done, I think 2017, and Mountrath was the third worst town in the island of Ireland for access to broadband. those figures are stark, you know, and we came on board, we're a year old. We were a year old at the end of July. So in the past year, we've been able to facilitate so many people who have no access to broadband. And then especially during a pandemic, we were able to facilitate spaces for them to work away, no problem, you know?
Yeah, my God, is it a year? That's a fast year. And we were at the launch, lovely, lovely day, and just the crowds that came out. It's a wonderful community there in Mountrath. I mean, obviously, I'll name names, and of course, the minute I name names, I'm leaving other people out. I'm thinking of course, Eddie Phelan, his daughter Edwina. You've Sinead in the Cozy Cafe, and of
Yeah.
course, it has to be mentioned. You've lost some real community stalwarts in the recent past. I'm thinking, of course, in terms of Tom Delaney.
Yeah.
Sorely,
Yeah.
sorely missed, Regina.
Yeah, we really have. And it's one thing, I'm not from Mountrath, but as I said, my partner is, and one thing I've noticed with Mountrath, there's a fantastic sense of community. No matter who you are, where you're from, whether you're from here or not, they just adopt you. You know, you just become part of the community. Like you walk down the road and you see Sinead out, she's a gorgeous new space now for her tea and coffee to sit outside, and she's just waving at you. You know, you go into Eddie's and you might as well be one of his children. Like, they're just fantastic, they really are. And I'm from a rural area in County Wicklow, so I'm used to that, you know, and it was like going back home. It's fantastic. I like it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean, it's and now with the current crisis, I hate referring even to the crisis, but now, and like again, and I mentioned this before in previous interviews, one of my pet theories, I have a lot of pet theories, is that this crisis will mark the high water mark for city living, and people now will realize, okay, Mountrath, it has the hub, it has the stable fast broadband, it has that community spirit. It's ticking a lot of boxes that, let's be honest, Dublin and some other bigger cities may not. They're going to say, let's move our business, let's move our home down the country. What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure if you see my Instagram over the weekend, but I shared some fabulous photos of the Sleeping Mountains. You know, when you walk up there, you can just feel your heart rate lower. Like, it's just amazing. It's magical. And that's 5-10 minutes drive from here. You know, like, imagine having your workspace and being able to go for a walk in a space like that, 5 minutes from your workplace. It'd take you an hour to get somewhere like that in the city. You know, like, it's just amazing. And not even that, you've the service. While you have the community element, you have the services in Laois. Laois has just grown exponentially, and like that, we've other hubs as well. And we've come together as a collective to work together, because everyone knows working together is better than out on your own, you know. And each hub has its own USP. Summit Malik has kitchens and a crash, and Mary has a fantastic 3D maker space out there. Like, Patricia in Portlaoise and Eamon in Portlaoise both have fantastic startup facilities, and the Bernie has space out in Rathdowney. So there's so much to offer when it comes to remote working hubs and cutting out that commute and creating a much better work-life balance. So we're going to be on RTE on Thursday morning, RTE Radio, the Morning Ireland show. And our main focal point of that is speaking about cutting out the commute, having a much better work-life balance. Like, long term, not only when it comes to the environment and cutting out a carbon footprint, it also changes people's lifestyles. That people are healthier, they're not as stressed, they're not sitting in a car or on a train for 2 hours there and 2 hours back. It's a huge impact on lifestyles and families as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're preaching to the converted here, because up to the 14th of March, I was leading bike tours and walking tours in Dublin, and that's come to a complete stop. And I've more I've more time on my hands now, which is great. And yeah, the commute can get very tough, especially in the winter time.
60 hours a week I was doing it before, John. 60 hours I was working and commuting with a toddler. You know, and I personally noticed a huge difference in his temperament when I cut out the commute.
Yeah.
Huge difference. You know, he was a much happier child. And that something has to be said for that, you know. And I think a lot more like prior to COVID, companies were like, no way we could go remote. Our security systems couldn't handle it. Like, it wouldn't be safe. We don't have the infrastructure. Overnight, everybody went to remote working. You know, 90% of the population went to remote working. And that goes to show 90% of the population can work remotely, you know? So,
yeah, of course, the big caveat is the availability of broadband.
yeah, no, I'm saying 90%. My figures are probably way off, but I'm saying at least like 13,000 people commute prior to COVID. That's a huge number for one small little county. It really is, you know. And again, broadband is the issue, and that's why hubs come into the fore, because you can come into work at a certain time, you can leave work at a certain time. You're not staying on those calls at 6, 7, 8, 9 at night, you know, and you have full access and you have no overheads. It doesn't affect your house insurance. You don't have extra electricity or broadband fees if you've had to upgrade your broadband at home, you know, and you've free tea and coffee on most of them, you know, so yeah.
So just to go back to the Hub Collective, because I mean, again, in every sector, I think it's the way to go. We need to collaborate. We need to work together. So you have a hub in Portarlington. That's the Enterprise Centre in Portarlington.
Yeah.
Very good. You have 2 in Portlaoise. You have Vision 85, run by Eamon Callahan. Hello, I'm sure Eamon will be watching in now.
And I think Eamon is a great project coming on board where he's putting a desk into the new Junction 17. Fantastic idea. You know, if you have to stop in for a meeting on the way to Cork or Limerick, you have a space. Really. Absolutely. And Eamon's great at those idea generating as well. He's fantastic at it.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, he's just like yourself, he's an example of the younger generation coming through with, how shall I say, fresh thinking.
Yeah.
You know, fresh thinking, blue sky thinking, which is necessary across the board, because obviously we're all going through, how shall I say, unsettling times. So we need to if it's not broken, don't fix it. And of course, if it is broken, we have to how shall I say, rethink what we're doing and work together. I mean, work together. And of course, in Portlaoise as well, you have the Portlaoise Enterprise Centre.
Yeah.
And then, of course, over in Mountmellick, you have the Web Mill.
Yep.
And then again, you mentioned Bernie Down and Rathdowney.
Yeah. So like some great projects, really good projects, and all aimed at developing business and developing rural communities, which a good chunk have been bypassed by motorways and so on. Like the motorway came in, these towns were decimated, you know. And as a historian, I look back at photos of these places, and even back to the kind of 1800s when they were booming towns that had access to like industry in Europe, you know, like really fantastic towns. And overnight, when the motorways came in, they were just decimated. So I personally think hubs like this and community developments like this will just really rejuvenate towns and give people a much better work-life balance again, you know?
Absolutely. And I have to say that the new garden at BloomHQ is looking great.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. And that's only the start. So phase 2 of our project hopefully begins very soon. And we will be renovating, it's a grade 1 listed building. It's 211 years old. I love it. I work in a more perfect place as a historian, you know, but it does need a bit of work. So our next phase then, we are going to renovate the chapel into a conference centre, keeping the stained glass windows, the parquet floors. They're just beautiful, really absolutely beautiful. And then we'll have more meeting space, and the garden will be added to as well. So it's such a great service. You know, if you're coming from other parts of the country and you need to have a meeting, Laois is central. Why not stop, you know?
Absolutely. So all viewers, please start messaging Gina. She'll give you the grand tour. If you give enough notice, she'll give you the grand tour in BloomHQ. And I hear, a little birdie tells me, you have a very exciting month ahead of you. Gina, what's happening?
So in September, we plan to get married. Obviously with COVID, it's all changed a little, and to be honest, I'm kind of delighted. So we will still Father Paddy and Abelite. The wonderful Father Paddy is going to marry us. Can't wait. And we're back to the house then for sandwiches, good old-fashioned wedding. And then we hope to have a reception then in the new year. So if September doesn't go ahead, January will. If January doesn't, we'll still be married in September. You know, always plan ahead.
Absolutely. And Father Paddy, yeah, he's got a wonderful profile online. I mean, it's great to see the younger generation of priests coming through and engaging with their flock online. It's wonderful to see. And of course, maybe the new reality has forced that on people, but he's a natural.
Yeah, he is. He? Yeah, it's probably the college he went to. We went to the same college, so it's probably the college.
I see. I see. So it's the old college tie. It's a bit of a network there. Very, very, very good. That's wonderful, Gina. You're very
Thanks,
good.
John.
You're very good to take time out because I know you're busy over there. It's very, very good of you to take time out to talk to us today. And tell me more about Morning Ireland. What time is it on?
I think it's 11 a.m. I haven't confirmed actually. I know I caught last week's one on the radio on the way in, so around 10 or 11 a.m. Their usual slot. It's the business show on Morning Ireland on Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, yes. That little birdie tipped me off that you were going to be featured, which is wonderful to see. It really, really is. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I'm in the county 20 years. I think Laois people need to get over their shyness. They have a lot to sell. They have a lot there. The packages.
But one thing I head up at the moment is called Grow Remote, the Laois chapter. So it basically promotes remote working. And this was around long before any COVID-19. It started as a WhatsApp group, actually. So I've formed the Laois chapter of Grow Remote. And one of the main tenets of their ideas is to show what a town has, not what it doesn't have. And Laois has so much to offer. It really does. So if anyone's interested in remote working or like we're running a jobs board and so on, hopefully soon, just get in touch, Grow Remote Laois on Change X. And also one other thing as well, we have a fabulous golf fundraiser coming up next week. Yes. If anyone likes to play a bit of golf, we're looking for more teams to join in. You can sponsor a green, sponsor a tee, or just come along and have a bit of fun. You know, that's what it's all about. And golf was one of the first things to open back up again. They can easily socially distance. So if anyone's interested, get in touch.
Yeah, well, you caught me.
Yeah, I did. So, you like a bit of golf though, John, so that's grand.
Oh, well, I tell you what, when we used to live very close to what was the Par 3 in Portlaoise, it's now Portlaoise Golf Club, they used to play a little bit, but yeah, the pros don't really have to worry about me beating them because no, I wouldn't be much good, but I like to walk around the course, put it that way.
Well, I won't lie. I had to find out what a golf tee box was, and I was calling them two different things. So I'm worse. Well, I've learned a lot organising this fundraiser, to be honest. But
well, the tee box always on the first hole and the 18th hole.
There we go.
If you can at all, charge a little bit more.
Thanks, John.
No problem at all. So, Gina, again, thanks for taking the time out of your schedule today. We'll see you. We'll see you at the golf. Any help with that, just let us know. And have a great week. We can't wait to hear you live and in stereo on Thursday morning on Morning Ireland. And no better ambassador for BloomHQ, Mountrath and Laois. Thanks,
John. Chat soon.
See you later, Gina. Bye now.